So I will call to order the meeting for February 17th, 2021. It's FairTV Commission at 7 p.m. Eastern. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance. Pick a corner of your house and start the Pledge of Allegiance.
There you go.
Pledge allegiance to the flag.
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice
for all. Okay. Next item.
Hey everyone. I'm back. Sorry, I got dropped and then I couldn't get back into the call. So here I am.
No worries. I had trouble getting in.
There you go.
So after we're off, you have to go into a corner of your house and say the Pledge of Allegiance, and you'll catch up. So, Vice Chairman, do you have anything for us tonight? Probably not, but
I am good, my friend.
Okay. So that takes care of the Secretary's report. Commander Alex, anything or nothing?
Nothing to report. I do have an idea for later regarding some info sent from Jerry.
Excellent.
Okay. We'll get to it.
We look forward
Jerry,
to new business.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll do that on new business. Jerry, you got I saw that you sent out the production manager report. You want to go through it, or?
Well, I'll do the last two first, which is basically we're just waiting on a final statement from HB in regards to our PEG PISA grant.
Right.
Hello? And but we're pretty, it's just a few little pieces of paper, but we should be able to sign off on that within the next couple of weeks. And also, the CAC Area 2 grant has come in, and it's due, it's due to be submitted by the end of April. And so if anybody has any ideas or suggestions, I've got a couple.
This is our chance to get creative.
What's entailed?
Pardon?
Say again?
What's entailed? I mean, as far as creativity, what can we do?
Well, this is basically where we ask for equipment, and we don't really do too much because we're still hamstrung in what it is that we can do. We are endeavoring, and I doubt it's ever going to happen, but some of the other towns have a meeting room that all of the meetings are done in this room, so they can then mount cameras on the wall and kind of do some robotics. But we ask, and nobody. Our town is so great that nobody will ever make a decision because they'll all fight each other. So all the different entities have meetings in different places, and Jerry gets pulled in 1,000 different directions.
That's stupid.
I don't think
it's not optimal, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's unfortunate, but anyway.
And I did have, I think it was last week, I had a conversation with Brenda, the first select woman. So I don't think that's ever going to happen. But the good thing was we went over the budget and everything was status quo. So they kind of said, okay, sounds good. We moved on. And then we kind of approached this, and she kind of echoed what I said, which was there's too many entities that are involved, and nobody's ever going to make a decision together. So it is what it is.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Say it again.
The big thing that's happened is the various boards and commissions have started using, they've always used PowerPoints, which were marginally well constructed in the sense of being legible. They make them for the computer screen. They don't really make them for the television screen, which is different. We don't have the same quality of image in our broadcast because the cable companies only, of course, as everybody knows, only give us an analog SD signal out to the customer. And so therefore, it's one thing if somebody puts together a PowerPoint with nice big fonts and images and it's all pared down to a few sentences, but they're running these reports and documents. It's all 8.5 by 11 typewritten sheets that you can't read on TV. And that's kind of a problem because they take up most of the screen, and from my perspective anyway, it really makes Fair TV look pretty poor on television. Now, what we can do, and I'm investigating, and I'm waiting to get some information back on cost. The new system, of course, was configured pretty much as an SD-oriented entity, and we shoot it as we output from our system, from our production equipment in SD. So, in order to maintain a certain consistency in the signal as it moves through the system, as well as SD is smaller files, it's easier to work with, quicker rendering times, all that kind of thing, which, keep our costs down. But since they started doing this, and as most of our meetings are also virtual, there is a recording made by, in the WebEx format. And what I've been doing is we've been lifting the WebEx video and dropping it in behind, because we still record the events. We still cover them and broadcast them. But we drop the WebEx in behind the lower thirds that are created during the course of a meeting, which gives us a much better an HD quality recording, and we put it. I've been putting them on to the VOD site. Now, I don't do it all the time. We've had the Board of Finance is famously known, famous for their 7-hour meetings, which makes it an even larger file, and 2-hour render times, that sort of thing. So what I'm investigating is swapping out on the front end of the head end. We have 2 decoders that come in that accept the broadcast feed, the production feed, and they're SD. And what we need to do is replace them with HD that converts the signal down to SD for the cable, because we can't run HD on cable, but we'll send an HD signal around through to our web stream, which will give us a better live event, because it'll be in HD, and a lot of the information that they're now putting up on screen will be legible. So I'm waiting to see what that happens, but that does mean that we start shooting in HD, which is fine. We have equipment. Our equipment all handles it. It just makes, like I say, it extends the production time a fair amount in relation to post-production.
Yeah, Jerry, I have an idea. I'd love to just throw out there, see if it's helpful at all.
Shoot.
So I've done some live broadcasts where we have multi-cameras and PowerPoints at the same time, and it's all feeding into one, screen for people to watch online, for example. Yeah. And, I did this in September, actually, where and I used this device. It was a Blackmagic device called an ATEM Mini, and it basically, you plug in whatever, you have 4 inputs and 1 output, and the output is, it's all HDMI, right? And what you can do is you can do a picture-in-picture. And so what we did was we had, whatever camera we had, it didn't matter. We had a source, and we chose what the source was, and it was a picture-in-picture, and it was literally a PowerPoint. And you can resize the PowerPoint to whatever size you want, so it takes up X amount of the screen. And at the same time, then if you're taking up half of the screen, well, you just have to make sure your camera is, the left half of your camera, for example, is focused on.
Let me ask you this thing. So I don't mean to interrupt, but were you running the PowerPoint yourself?
No.
Who was running the PowerPoint?
The person whose PowerPoint it was. So
yeah,
all
but
we're
was
thinking
they in the room with you? I mean, or was this a transmission that you interfaced with and broadcast out?
It was. They were in fact in the room. Yeah.
See, that is the problem, in the sense that now I can, on the WebEx, I can enlarge.
I completely understand, but in the end, that's in the end, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but in the end, that is you're watching the WebEx on a computer, right? And that computer can mirror its screen to anything you output to whatever. So you can just plug in the HDMI out of that computer into this device, create a picture-in-picture, plug it into your broadcast, and mix it with your video camera, no? It doesn't care where the signal comes from.
That would be fine if, in fact, the PowerPoint was coming in under a separate source. But in the WebEx, we get the WebEx call and all the video images from the various participants, and then they screen share the PowerPoint, the whatever it is they're screen sharing. And I don't have any control over that. And
can you choose the size? Can you choose that? Like, I know when somebody screen shares with me, I can choose to look at their mug or I can choose to look at their screen. So are you able to choose their screen?
I can't do that. All I can do is select the various screen elements, either focus, stage, or grid, and then they share the information, and that basically shifts the images over to one side or on the top, and then the screen share is below them, but it's all one signal coming in. And like I said, because we have to broadcast in SD, and my system is set up to push out SD, bringing in the HD element, or as you say, even if I could, I don't know how it would interface with the eventual output.
What happens if we down convert right now?
Well, it gets down converted in the broadcast hub, our head end, which is why I don't know if I could enhance or make better the cable companies what they output from us.
Right.
Because as I said, it all gets broken down to 720 by 480 because that's the biggest they'll accept. And so to me, it seemed the best solution would be, okay, you can watch it on TV, or you can get a better program, a better program if you watch it on the internet, on our web stream. And because I currently work with 5 different boards and commissions, although we have a couple of WebEx masters, Dave Kelly, head of the IT for Town Hall, and one of our guys, Nick Marini, is filling in when he can, and he's not working for us. But again, I would think that device would go on there. I mean, I don't know how it would interface from where I get it from and where I patch it into my broadcast hub, because it doesn't separate out web stream or cable. My production equipment just outputs what it outputs. I can run a separate line out to like YouTube or something, which is a whole other process of just getting on YouTube every time. But to me, anyway, the best solution would be, as I say, to modify, produce in HD, convert it down for cable television, and then pass through around for the web stream in HD. That's the simplest. Because Stuart was talking about our need for a studio. This is one of the reasons we have to tear this down and set it up every single time. So with every single time you do it, Murphy's Law becomes really fast.
And when Jerry knocks all the equipment down, we've had anvil cases and I think some other equipment cases. But the Department of Public Works transports this gear around. It's heavy gear, and it's in cases that are shock mounted. So it's not as simple as just we flip on a switch and we do it. And they don't seem to understand that.
Well, yeah. I mean, I would like to be able to. And it's a good idea, Alex. But I just think that because we have different players with each event, and the way that I receive the thing, the WebEx is whole. It's not two parts. It's not one part being the screen share and one part being the WebEx participation. It all becomes one. So if I do something to enhance the screen share, I'm going to be doing the same thing to the WebEx thing. Now, I already am converting the WebEx and running it into our system via a small converter. But the problem is and it's fine. It looks great. I can read everything. But the minute it goes out to program or out to the hub, then it gets stepped out, and that's where it begins to become illegible. So
yeah, I understand. It's definitely challenging. I mean, what about if you're so we're talking about just for the live broadcast. I mean, the picture-in-picture. I didn't really realize. I figured it was somebody in the room, and you were having to focus on their PowerPoint.
I wish it was that way, but no, it's I just participate in the WebEx like any other participant, but I'm taking it and rebroadcast it, and then I lay my ROAS up. They create a roadmap for the viewer so they know where they are and whatnot. And, it is a correction that has to be made in the head end and not necessarily at production base. So there you go, and there you are. I'm working with it, and it does cost us additional funds to insert the WebEx into the existing recording. So it's not a lot of money, but with every meeting, it adds another $25 or $50 to costs. And just out of curiosity, I mean, mainly this is not for the live broadcast. This is for putting it up after the fact, like online. Well, no. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. Is I'm trying to. If I wasn't concerned about the live broadcast, either on the web stream or cable, it wouldn't be a problem. I mean, we've been filling in with the VOD element, but we've been making these re-edits, so to speak, strictly for video on demand. The live production aspect is where we are running into issues.
Gotcha. All right. Well, I'm glad I got to share the idea, but I understand it's not really quite going to work here. So, good luck.
Well, as Stuart said, if we had a centralized meeting hall, there'd be a studio. I could have a guy in there running the PowerPoint separate, because we'd be, I'd let them run their information. I can't, there's no communication here. I can't switch or, when they're done talking about something, move to the next thing. I don't have, we don't have any talk back or anything like that. So it's really up to the commission and who's ever providing the PowerPoints or the screen sharing, they manage it. So I'm sort of at their mercy that way.
And unfortunately, like I said, they don't understand it, and they just think that everything's magic, as most people think television's magic.
Yeah. But although last night we didn't broadcast it, but we recorded. We were prepared to record the Board of Finance meeting, all 4 hours of it. We did it in an HD format, but they didn't do any screen sharing. So I could get all set up with this, but they'll never. Who knows? Maybe they won't do it. I mean, so that's my conundrum is, if you're going to do it, do it. If you're not going to do it, don't do it. But don't make me go out and spend money to set up to do it and not do it. I mean, I suppose if we do it and it becomes available and we let them know that this is how it'll work, it'll be fine. But at the moment, there's none of that kind of communication going on. I sent Stuart this explanation about what we were up against and asking him if I should just send this out to all the department head, chairmen that we work with, the commissions, and but as Stuart says, they don't get it. They think it's magic, and how come I can't do this? So,
I mean, it's even reached the point where I've noticed other towns, they're actually savvy enough to know when to turn on and off their mics and when their mics are on. So there's less ambient noise, there's less shuffling around, there's less knocking on the table. We don't get that.
Well, Dave has gotten pretty good on it. The RTM with 40 members gets a little like herding cats, and the Board of Ed, although they've got a pretty good WebEx hostmaster, they have more problems when they invite the public in for public comment than they do with their meetings. It's taken a little while, I have to say, to get order, so to speak, in the WebExes, but it is coming around. I've sent out some information for people to, address how they frame themselves for these things. Last night I actually had the opportunity to talk to one member who's, I don't think I've ever seen anything much more than her nose and eyes in a meeting.
Right.
So I got her to reframe herself. And I've noticed, too, that people, I think, are actually watching these sometimes, and they go, boy, I don't look very good here. So they're getting a little better at it. But nobody is really, and I don't expect it, nobody's really, media savvy or production savvy. So, pardon?
No, I was going to say that would be fine if they let us be the media experts, but they won't, because everybody's got to get involved and put their 2 cents in.
Yeah, that's really the situation. So there you go. I should have the information for this modification. I don't know if it'll be. I think the labor will be far more expensive than the devices themselves. I mean, I don't want to they just set the head end up. I'm not going to go out and buy a couple of converters and try and patch them in, because I don't want to mess up the flow. There's a whole flow that has to be attended to that the vendor is
don't overcomplicate
familiar with at the moment that I am. Granted, over time, I'm sure that I will get it down, but as far as on the front end here, I don't want to start out with glitches or any more than I need necessarily. So I'll let you know.
Okie dokes.
Next month, March, we have FairTV will be covering 20 events.
Wow, which is busy. So you've got other people helping you, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to get it done. But the Board of Finance, I have no idea why they have to have 7 budget meetings, but they do. And there is one other issue. They do this public meeting every year in regards to the budget over at Ludlow High School. And ordinarily, I wouldn't necessarily be concerned. But with these new variants and whatnot, I got to admit, I'm a little concerned about setting up over at the high school and having everybody from the public come in. And, Fairfield has its fair amount of non-masters. And, who knows? I mean, what will happen or what, but I don't know if they're going to stick with that plan to make it live, but they do it. I mean, not live, but they do this public meeting where they invite the public in and answer their questions in regard to the coming budget. But,
when is that meeting?
Maybe that's, I don't know, the 27th of
March.
I'm pretty sure it's May.
27th of March. Okay.
Let me just see here. Confirm it.
Do you think you need more hands?
No, I said it is a two-man shoot because we have to set up a camera to cover the public, which is kind of far away, and I'm not going to be using remote-controlled cameras. I'll be using our Sony cameras. So I will need an operator to run that, which I've done.
So would you put it on the same place as the podium, or on that same plane, so that you're shooting backwards, so you can get and just leave it on a wide shot, or is that you're never going to see the people when they stand up?
Well, you can't. You really have to set one camera up so you can at least get a profile shot. I don't like shooting people talking to the back of their heads. You know that.
Yeah.
We try to get at least a half profile or.
Okay.
You know, if we're lucky, I tweak the podium. I push the camera as far as the cable will go, and I usually get like a 3/4 profile out of it. So
Right. Okay.
But I mean, I'm hoping that they'll change their mind and do a virtual event, but I don't know.
That would be the best. Yeah, I mean, which I think is the same reason why every time I ask about us getting back in and doing real meetings, and they don't want to do that. I don't think they want to do anything.
I can imagine that.
No, they don't want to. They don't want to push it. I mean, but the Board of Finance is probably the most weightiest board in town. They command the most cred with the community.
Yeah. Well, with us, the reasoning was given to me as they don't want us in there because they're afraid. They don't want to keep the janitor on because he's got to wait till we're done. And I think they remember when we used to have the 2 and 3 hour meetings. They don't realize that we get this done in half an hour, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Yeah. So anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
I like it.
Well, thank you, Jerry.
Right. Thanks, Next Jerry. Item, approval of the minutes.
Approval of the minutes. I have submitted the January minutes. Patrick, my apologies for the misspelling of your name.
No worries. Like I said, mine autocorrects to collegian, which is
my auto going to get chastised severely for this.
No, I'm going to make the motion that we approve the minutes. They look great.
All right.
I'll
have people read it?
Second.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay, so that's done. Do we have any unfinished business? I don't think so.
I don't believe so. Anybody?
No. All right. To new business. I know that there was. First, let's. Any slide requests?
No.
Okay, I like that. And then we earlier on wanted to talk about something that we were going to put that under new business.
Yes, Alex. What do you got?
Oh no, that was it. It was just my idea for Jerry, which I've already discussed. Sorry for the confusion.
Oh. No worries.
Hey, did we ever think from the fire department on that proposed coordination, or did that just sort of go away?
I think it kind of faded.
I called and
spoke. I think that fizzled because kids are in school, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, they never got back to me. This was back in October. I did reach out to Phil, and they went ahead and they did it in school. So
no worries. I was curious.
All right. To the good of the order, if there is such a thing. And then I'll make a note. All right, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, passed. Oh no, I'm sorry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any against?
Hey guys, everybody be safe tomorrow. A little bit of snow coming our way for a while.
Yeah, there's snow coming, and like the Mighty Quinn says, it's supposed to go through Friday. So just be careful, everybody.
Yep.
And I'll send out another agenda in a month.
Super.
All right, have a good month.
Thanks, gentlemen.
All right, thanks.
Hey guys.
Okay, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.